Australia and all ships at sea. This is Bobby Blitz from Overkill, calling in from New Jersey, the US of A. You're on Meta Ignition, that's the right place to be.
As I said, we're stoked to have you here to chat and learn about the new Overkill record, White Devil Armory, available in July 2014. Can you tell us what might be available for the Aussie fans as extras for the album? I know you've got a couple of cool extras for the overseas people, but what can Aussie fans get their hands on?
I'll tell you, that's the funniest question I've ever heard for the first question in all my 30 years of doing interviews. Not what's the record about, but what's the extras about. But I'll tell you, the record hits the streets in the U.S. and Europe third week of July, so I assume Australia right behind that or right in front of it.
Yep.
The extras we have for Nuclear Blast are an original Overkill song called The Fight Song, and if you know anything about Overkill, we have a tremendous punk background. I mean, Dee Bernie, when I met him, he was right out of the, that punk vibe of New York that happened in the late 70s, early 80s. And we're talking bands like the Dead Boys and New York Dolls and, Television and Blondie and the Ramones and shit that was happening down there. And we've always liked kind of going back to that thing. I was in the university in Manhattan at that time, so for me, it was kind of a weekend thing, but Dee Dee was living it full time. So that whole punk thing has stayed in there, and the Fight Song, is kind of that old root that we've always tried to thread through Overkill records, regardless of it being a straight-ahead punk song or not. The second extra is actually, if anybody's an Accept fan, or myself first, what's called a TT Quick fan from New Jersey, is a gentleman in my area called Mark Chanillo, who's actually the vocalist for Accept, did a duet with me for an old, I don't know if you call it a metal band, but a rock and roll band called Nazareth out of Scotland. And we covered a song called Miss Misery, where we did a duet. So they're the extras. And, Mark has cut from that. If you know the Nazareth stuff, Mark has cut from it. I still have that kind of, let's say bourbon and tobacco kind of a voice, and so does Mark. So it works very well together.
Yeah,
they're the two extras on the, they're the two extras on the record from the get-go to Nuclear.
So what do you think the new Overkill record brings to the table for veteran fans and new fans alike?
Well, I think one of the things that's maybe the beauty of this band or the charm of it is that we don't have, there's no identity crisis here. We know who we are. We do what we do. We try to do it better each time. And somebody says, oh, God, you have 17 records. But I think, the most important thing for Overkill is to be relevant in the day, to have value in 2014. And if you follow our past releases, for decades, that's what our message has always been, that we can stand in the day as opposed to the past. And hey man, it's great to have a history. It's great to have somebody give you a hand job and a beer for the fact you've been around for 30 years. But, the other side of the story is that means nothing at the end of the day. What really means nothing at the end of the day is the fact that we can say, man, this is a modern presentation rooted in history, but yet at the same time with something that says, here we are in the present day.
Nice. Yeah, you can certainly stand in the present time with your sound. Everyone's always craving a bit of thrash metal. It never dies and will never go away. So it's exciting.
One of the things I think that makes Overkill is Dee Bernie. He has a dark side to him. He has a bright side to him. He has a punk side. He has a rock and roll side. He has a traditional new wave of British heavy metal side. And if that's the fucking dude you're talking to in the fucking elevator while you're going up to catch the next plane, you know that this cat is thinking all over the place. And if all those things excite the guy that makes the riff, hey, you're probably going to get good results at the end of the day if you're that band that says, hey, man, I want to stay relevant. I want to do what we do, and I want to do what we do best. So, kudos to Dee Blaney for being the riffmeister.
Can you walk us through some of the steps of the creation of White Devil Armory and how it all went down, or is a lot of it centered around the riffs based on what you're saying? The riff master, if you will.
Yeah, it usually starts with a fart into a burp. Somebody cracks a
That's always good. That's always a good start. Okay, this is how it goes. All right, I'm going to start with a fart and I'm going to end with a burp.
Right. After being together with a cat for about 30 years, and I've had two wives. I've had, in my life, I've had one partner I write songs with. What am I thinking? I remember some great stories I can tell you from the old days where, we were sitting there somewhere in the mid-'90s, and I think I was having a cup of coffee with Dee somewhere in, Eastern Europe, in a park where wild dogs are running around. I said, what do you think? He goes, what do you mean what do I think? I said, about the next record. He goes, are you fucking crazy? We've been over since 1990. Who gives a fuck? Let's just do what we want.
So it must be pretty happy when you sit back and the record's done, and you're reflecting on all the times it's all that fun creative process when you sit back and you feel like you've achieved something every time. I mean, 16 albums and 2 EPs, 2 live albums and a cover album. Now with the release of the 17th album, it's a solid discography going there, Bobby.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic to be able to look at the step by step. And I'm not going to say we never made mistakes, because we obviously have. But,
yeah.
But to be able to see your life put in front of you with regard to, for instance, 17, full-length records. When heavy metal was a dirty word, at Overkill did, we turned our backs to, the megaphone when they're saying, okay, all you bastards, you go home and you work for your mom and your dad. We said, go fuck yourself. We kind of turned our backs to it, and we kind of just pushed through. We weren't the big four or big three at the time, or big two, or whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
We were just ourselves.
Yeah.
And we just kind of moved through this whole thing, saying, it's a jungle, and, somebody have a knife sharpener because I have a machete. We can cut through this stuff. and that's kind of the way we looked at the whole thing. And it wasn't about what was popular. It was about what we needed to do to be people. I mean, I remember Dee does so few interviews, and I'm sitting next to him one day, and we're on a big radio station on Sirius or something out of New York, and the question was from a guy named Ed Trunk, who does he does that metal show on VH1 Classic.
Sure.
And a friend of ours, we got a football game for the cat, and he goes, well, Dee, is it more important to be, a band that's existed for, for this many decades, or is it better to be a band like another New York band, New Jersey band like Twisted Sister, and just fucking, come out of the box after your hard work and then release 3 fucking huge records? He goes, are you out of your fucking mind? He goes, I had too many songs in my head. And I'm sitting next to him, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm the proudest motherfucker on the face of the earth to be working with this guy.
What was Randy like to work with, Bobby?
Blythe he's a piece of fucking work, I mean, I've known Blythe on both sides of the fence, He's a great fucking dude. I met him in 2007, We were doing, a tour in the States called Gigantour. And it's a Megadeth thing.
Sure, yeah.
Len and I were co-headlining, and we were on it. And Mustaine and I are good friends. And, we were going through a record issue at the time. We were about to be dumped by somebody. So we're going to be free when we're out on that gigantor. And Mustaine threw us that bone and said, Bobby, whatever. Just fucking come out and just do what you do. I mean, it's going to be fucking killer. And he put us on the main stage. And Blythe comes up to me like the fucking second day in breakfast. You know, I'm having a fucking bagel and cream cheese and coffee. He's like, oh, I'm Randy Blythe. I'm like, yeah, hey, that's cool. That's cool. Go the fuck away. I'm all over that fucking song you're doing at the end. And we were doing this punk number that we wrote off a record called Relics called Old School. He's like, I'm all over that shit, man.
Awesome.
I said, you have the balls. You have the balls. I have a mic up there tonight. And the motherfucker shows up, you know? And I put the mic up there on the stage, made sure there was an extra mic, and Randy grabbed the mic and he came out and he sang on like this is like the second night. He's like up there singing. He never missed a night for the song. Never. The whole fucking tour. He would stop interviews. Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go sing Old School with Overkill.
Awesome. What a legend.
Hey, Pat, let me tell you something. My wife always says this about it. She goes, we've been married now for close to a 15-year period. And she said to me, look at my big, tough husband up there, you know, all his muscles fucking hanging out and everything. Fucking black shirt, this black-shirted crew up there just delivering death, but smiling like a little boy at the circus.
Oh, that's awesome. That's like a quote to keep for a long time, there, buddy. Get that on a shirt or something.
We'll have to give it to her. I'll have to write her name after.
What's in store for Overkill for the rest of the year? I know you guys are going. You're doing a couple shows in Europe, are you? And are you going to make your way back to Australia? You were in Australia earlier this year, were you not? Or?
No, we're knocking on the door, obviously. I mean, it's a great market. I mean, going down your East Coast, we've never been to Perth on the West, so it would be fucking awesome, too. But we went down your East Coast. But we're knocking on the door, and we're, the Asians are interested, which always, lights up the Australian light bulb now. It's like the Asians are interested in right down there. It's only a fucking 12-hour flight.
Only.
Let me tell you, it's a great place to be. And I remember doing the show in Melbourne, and we've always been a little bit over the top. And the end of the show happened, and the place is pretty close to packed. And for God's sake, I'm standing on the stage, and I'm looking into the audience, I'm saying, I'm going to launch myself off these fucking monitors. So I took a few steps back, and I fucking took a run up and vaulted myself off of the diving board. And I was coming into the crowd, and for God's sake, there was a girl standing under me, and I went knee first right into the side of her head. And the rest of the boys caught me, right? And the Australian guys, they put me up on top of the crowd, and I got myself back to the bottom, and they put me on the stage, and I grabbed my tour manager, who's also a woman, and I said, listen, I knocked out a chick out there. And she's like, and she runs over to the side, and she grabs security, and she told them, look for a chick on her back, and they found this fucking broad, and they brought her to the backstage, right? And she's sitting in a chair, right? And I'm in Melbourne, I'm sweating my ass off the last song, and I'm holding her hand, right? I'm holding her hand, and she shakes her head there, and she looks at me, and she goes, fucking Bobby Blitz. God damn it. You have a beer? I said, yes, I do have a beer, sweetheart. And I love your fucking country.